Here we go. We've had some big games at our time at Oxford City. We've had the playoff final. We've had the third round of the FA Cup against QPR. Had the second round of the Cup against Wigan Athletic. All big games. A win today, irrelevant of what Torquay do, and we go up as champions because of our superior goal difference. So it's all to play for. And this here basically confirms what I've just said. We go away today, we beat Accrington, we go up as champions. Of course, if we lose to Accrington, it's still wide open. But if we beat Accrington, even if Yeovil win, we go up as champions. But of course, we need to win that game. A little bit of disappointing news out the camp. Damari Mellor has picked up an injury. So that does mean that McEachran will come back into the squad. Or McEachran, sorry, will come back into the squad. Of course, McEachran is probably one of them players that the step up to League Two, it's just not going to be for him. So these will be his last few appearances, most probably for us here at Oxford City. But of course, he is the leading appearance maker for Oxford City now. So we have gone on with a fantastic career with him. So this is almost his retirement tour, a little bit like how we had the retirement tour for Aliki last season. And hopefully we can have a little bit of a better outcome. Pretty much going to go for an unchanged 11. I don't think there's any reason why to change anyone else. I mean, there is an argument to bring Hugo back into the squad, but I think Elliot Paris done a good job in that last game. And I feel like maybe a game or two out, it will give Hugo that little bit of extra momentum to come back in and start scoring again. So the only change is that change in the centre attacking midfield role for McEachran. So here we go. This is the team sheet. These are the 11 players on the field who could potentially lead us to going up as champions in today's game. We've got James Wright in goal, Josh Briggs, Darnell Johnson, Declan Skara and Nicola Calafiori, Hayden Murray-Holmes and Victor Gromek in midfield, Herbie James, Zach McEachran, Owen Clark in the attacking midfield roles and Reece Elliot Paris leading the line. Like I said, a very unchanged lineup from last time. The title is ours if we win, barring a minor goal difference miracle, which isn't going to happen. So let's go out there and finish the job. I don't think Torquay are going to beat Yeovil, if I'm honest. With how they played against us and how Yeovil played against us, I think we could quietly and confidently say that Yeovil will give them a good game. So I think we just need to go and do our job. And that just highlights the goal difference. We've got an 11 goal difference. So as long as we don't lose this 4-0, I mean, I've said that now, and Torquay go on and win, say 4-0, then we should be laughing after this and we should be crowned as champions. If that is the case, then what the plan will probably be is I'll skip the remaining games and just bring us back for the last game of the season. We're 1-0 up already. Hayden Murray-Holmes, that's what he does from outside the box. He picks that ball up, surges up the pitch in that box-to-box midfielder role, and it just works so perfectly. It's not the first time he's done that. Remember, he done that in the first game of the season. I mean, it did take a horrendous deflection. He did that in the first game of the season. He's done that multiple times this year. And of course, it's a player that he's sparking a lot of interest out there, but us going up to League Two, I'm confident that we can hold on to him. Yeovil and Torquay are still drawing. So again, like I said, even if Yeovil win, even if Torquay win, it doesn't matter. But I'm getting extra excited now that the fact that I know it's only 8 minutes in, but as things stand, we get crowned as champions. And we're going up to Sky Bet League 2. We're going to have to become professional. We're semi-professional at the minute. We don't even have a full-time training schedule. We're going to have to look at all of that. We're going to have to put some extra real training plans in place for the weeks rather than just sort of focusing on the odd thing here and there. It's going to do wonders for Calafiori's development going full-time training as well. McEachran here. Cuts it back. Elliot Paris. Oh, Ghost gets saved by the goalkeeper. Goes out for a corner. But of course, we will not see it. And that is still something that we need to do some work on. Maybe bring in a set-piece coach as well, just to try and train us a little bit more around set pieces. Because we scored the odd one, but I think our corners could be a lot more effective. Clark almost with his trademark long-range effort, but he just gets tipped over the crossbar and goes out for the goal kick. I say tipped over. Obviously, the goalkeeper didn't even need to save it. He was read it all the whole time. But 28 minutes played. Clark tries the ball for Elliot Paris. Can't get it through. And this is where we just, you know, winning or drawing today pretty much sums up our league. No, we have to win today, so we need to get the 3 points. So Elliot Paris here. Cuts it back, surely. Oh, yes. The deflection goes back to Elliot Paris, and he tucks it in the bottom corner. I was going to say, to cut that back a little bit sooner, and you would have had this runner here from Herbie James, and he would have banged that in. But it goes to McEachran, comes off the post, bounces off the goalkeeper. Unfortunately for them, but very fortunate for us. Sometimes you just have to ride your luck. Torquay are actually beating Yeovil, but remember, that is all irrelevant if we win our game today. We will still go up as champions if we win this afternoon. Briggs, ball in, Elliot Paris is there, doesn't really get onto the end of it though. Murray Holmes, Killer Ferrari. Back to Murray Holmes, Gromek, Briggs. Lovely ball. Oh, you wouldn't want McEachran really getting that, or McEachran, sorry. I'm always going to call him McEachran now, I feel like. Even if I met him in real life, I'll be like, oh, McEachran. And he would have no idea who I'm talking about. Ball over the top. Elliot Paris chases it. Just can't get there. Goalkeeper comes out and smothers it. But so far, so good, right? We don't need to take any more chances now, really. We can sort of, in a way, shut up shop in the second half. We're 2-0 up. We're cruising. There's no real threat. Clark with a lovely bit of skill. Lovely solo run and effort. Killer Ferrari getting the mark on the assist as well. But that was absolutely magical stuff. Look at that. Through the pressing player's legs. No one's closing him. Look at this. He's got acres of space to run into. And then he just dinks it nicely into the far corner. And that's just never going to be saved. But 3-0 up. I think the noise that you're hearing is the Oxford City fans knowing that we are going up as champions. I mean, you would expect the stands to be a bit more packed out, wouldn't you, in the away section? Let's be honest. But as things stand, we are going to be champions of the National League. And I have to keep saying it to believe it, right? We were dibbed to finish still towards the bottom of the table. We were not dibbed to be going up. We weren't even dibbed to get in the playoffs. But as usual, we prove the doubters wrong. I'm going to take Scara off. I don't want to risk him picking up a red card. I still want him to be there in the final few games of the season. Do I take... No, I'm not even going to take him off at half-time. I'm just going to leave Hugo on the bench for now. I don't think it's fair on bringing him off. I will bring off Gromek, though, so he can have a rest. And we'll put Tom Scott on, again, a more sort of holding midfield role. I'll give Boswell a run out. Boswell's another player that he'll probably be going at the end of the season. And Pennington, he can come on at right back. Just to obviously see this through now. Pennington does give us a bit more pace in sort of tracking them more pacier wingers than what Briggs does. Not that Briggs is slow, but he's definitely more there, sort of solidity in the corners with that jumping reach. And he likes to tuck in a little bit more, which I like. So if they're playing a winger that likes to cut inside, it's a lot harder for them to be able to do that against him than it is Pennington. But the ball in from the corner, Clark picks it up. Cuts it back into Francis. Francis with an absolute audacious effort that hits the crossbar. And it comes back into the keeper's hands from Elliot Paris's header. Long ball downfield. Johnson deals with it all day long. Have that. Off into row Z of the stands. And that's all we need to do. Just no nonsense stuff now. We are doing our job. Let's just cruise. Boswell, see, making a loose pass there. He's not even under any pressure. Tom Scott. Into Pennington, Herbie James, playing it around nicely between the boys. James, into McEachran, loses the ball, but he was fouled in the process, so we'll have a free kick in a dangerous area. Will we see the free kick? We will not, and that's fine. It means they're not going to hit us on the counter-attack. What's the score in the... It's now 1-1. I did say Yeovil will give Torquay a little bit of a challenge. 65 minutes played, and it's basically done and dusted unless there is an absolute capitulation of the team here. 3-0 up. We're having a laugh, and we're going up as champions. We are top of the league, so we are top of the league. And there he is, Darnell Johnson. The shirt in the lime kit, Darnell Johnson. Of course he's going to get a goal in the video of the game that gets us top of the league. Hey, he takes it up for Francis as well, doesn't he? Cheeky. Absolutely love it. And we are going up. Sky Bet League 2, here we come. You ain't going to know what's hit you when we come into the division. I've got big aspirations next year. We're going to aim for the playoffs. this squad's good enough. Maybe I need to add a little bit more quality. But in general, the character of the squad is good enough, right? Playoffs, let's aim for that next season. I mean, I probably won't tell the squad that. I'll probably say, you know, we'll try and just finish sort of mid to low table. We're definitely not going to be battling relegation, I don't think. I think with a couple more players added and with the players that we've got, of all which are, you know, a good handful of this defence, the midfield, the attackers, obviously Elliot Paris or Hugill, they are Sky Bet League 2 quality. I think we will have enough to stay up. And that's going to be our full attention over the next coming weeks. Finding players that are good enough for League 2. But of course, until it ticks over, we're probably not going to be able to do it. But there we go. 4-0 winners. And we are going to see the trophy lift. We're away from... I would have rather have seen it at home and had it in front of the Oxford fans. But here we go. This is our first trophy lift that we will see as Oxford City. And let me tell you, it won't be the last. This is the first of many. Of course, we went up through the playoffs, so you don't get a trophy for playoffs, but you do get a trophy for winning the league. And here we go. There we go, boys and girls. The fireworks go off. The confetti's there. I mean, I don't know if there would be that much pyro in a National League trophy lift, especially when we're away from home, but we'll take it. We're going to do a lap of honour as well. Really rub it into the African fans' face. You know, you're 22nd in the league, and look at this. This is what you could have. If you had a squad of our depth and a manager of my ability, then this is what you could have had. But we blew them out of the water. Look at that. Match momentum. Ever so little sneaks of something from them, but we done our job. How did Jovial and Torquay end in the end? They did draw 1-1. Absolutely brilliant. We are champions. There's nothing more to say. Darnell Johnson with an 8.2. Hayden Murray-Holmes with an 8.2. Proving why they're going to be the leaders of the squad going in to Sky Bet League 2. So the board have come out. They want to offer us a new deal. They're obviously ecstatic that we've got promoted. It was never on the cards. They want us to obviously attend a meeting about turning professional. Of course, with the laws and the rules, we have to turn professional from going up. Let's have a look at what the budgets say. So they're going to give us a wage budget of 32,500. I mean, that's less than what Crawley are offering. They're going to be in the National League, so we'll have 15,000 to spend. I mean, it's not bad. It's workable. We've already turned professional, right? So you want us to have a meeting about it, but you've done it anyway. Fair enough. I mean, that's absolutely fine. Johnson on form. Let's just see as well. Where are Crawley in the league? Because, you know, apparently I wasn't the right man for the job. I mean, Callum Wilson's obviously doing an absolutely fantastic job at Crawley. Oof. I mean, they had a little bit of a manager bounce here, and then look, it's gone back to normal. And their start of the season was horrendous. You can see why they got rid of the manager at that point. But anyway, we go up as champions. So what I'm going to do, just so we get our usual 2 games, I will now skip forward to that last game of the season. That last game of the season, of course, being against Eastleigh United. What I will probably do is start to get some scouting going, instruct my scouts to go out and look at some specific players. But of course, with the way that reputation doesn't tick over until you actually go up, and sometimes it actually doesn't tick over until June or July, we won't actually be able to sign anyone. So these are going to be players that we're going to try and get reports on ready to then look at going into making an offer once that ticks over. I would have thought that the finances would have been better. 347,000 still in the red. Look at the predictions now, though. They're then predicting at the end of next season, or at the end of this season, we'll go up 292. Very nice. We're actually on course to get the finances finally on point. As you can see as well, the Oxford City Board have offered me a new contract. I mean, we'll probably sign that. They want to pay us £875 a week. I feel like that is low for a Sky Bet League 2 side. I'm going to ask for £1,000 and they're going to offer it to me. Lovely. Remember, we still want to improve our own finances, right? This whole thing is about taking us as someone with no coaching badges all the way to the tippy top as well. So we want to be getting that little bit more money every time we sort of go up to that next step. And £1,000 a week, I think, is fair. £52,000 a year. That's not anything to be sniffed at, is it? Considering we are doing something that we love to do. So, as I said, I'll bring you back to the last game of the season against Eastleigh. Of course, we are already promoted as champions. And, of course, the form has taken pretty much a dip from that. And, obviously, from the partying that the squad have done, let's be honest. I did fully pretty much rotate the squad for that game against Morecambe. And then we brought the sort of more key players back in, lost 3-2 to Dorking, which, I mean, doesn't really matter now that we've gone up as champions, of course. It would have been nice to win our remaining few games, but hey, you know, we're going to be rebuilding a good majority of the squad going into the next season. In terms of scouting, I haven't really done much yet because I haven't really thought about where we're going to change things. I think if we look at the first team squad, Wright's probably going to need to be changed. Leading Enterprise North-South, he could be a decent Sky Bet League One player, but he's 23 years old now, so is he potentially going to be able to get to that level? So again, it might be that he has to accept that he's going to drop down to sort of potentially cup goalkeeper or backup. Other than that, I think really a right back, left back were fine. The midfield, I'm pretty much happy with the two holding midfielders. It will just be these attacking three here that need a little bit of work. And of course, Hugill up front, I'm happy with as long as he can perform in the Sky Bet League 2. Of course, he is meant to be a good Sky Bet League 2 player and would be good for most Sky Bet League 2 sides. He is still wanted, so potentially, you know, if a big money offer comes in, we may consider it. Same as along with obviously this guy, but ideally, I wouldn't want to sell Hayden. And of course, with regards to the youngster as well, his value's now shot up to 350,000 on the max. But of course, all of them clubs are still swarming around us like sharks to try and take some of our best players. He is now deemed as one of the key or the best player within our squad. But like I said, we're at the Eastleigh game. Like I said, I've been rotating. Unfortunately, McEachran picked up a injury in the last game. I did notice his contract actually does run until 2029, so he may not be out of the squad, but also I might just sell him potentially. I'm not sure. Or he'll have to accept that he's just going to be more of a squad player rather than a regular starter. But other than that, nothing else has happened off camera. Apart from, actually, tell a lie, something else has happened off of camera, which I'm not sure if I like the look of or not. Let me get back to my messages, please. So basically, the Oxford City chairman, I know that's bringing in a new physio for my under-21s. I mean, the board did that. I didn't ask him to do that. Where are we? Here. Oxford City owner looking to step aside. So I think they've actually come out, because usually you get that sort of thing that comes out like that. So I don't know what that potentially may mean. Obviously, we've got our budget. Are our budgets going to change? Maybe, hopefully not for the worst. But as we can see, we still have all of that wage budget to play with. Of course, I've held off for now until we can really get a good idea of the sort of quality of player that is available. But let's get into the game before we go on any further. We're going to play pretty much our starting 11 now. Last game of the season. Give the fans a nice send-off from the National League. Other than that, we might play Chris Francis, because Francis has a good affiliation with the fans as well. Let them see him one last time out. Other than that, I would love to keep these loanees, but it's all going to come down to whether we can agree that or not. And as we can see, the team sheets are in for this last game in the National League. Hopefully, it's a league that we won't actually have to ever come back to. James Wright in goal, Jacob Pingington, Darnell Johnson, Chris Francis, and Nico Killaferreri. Hayden Murray-Holmes, Victor Glomek, and then we've got James, Mellor and Clark, and Hugill in attack. It's the last game of the season. I'm just going to say the pressure's off. The result will take care of itself. I'm just going to say I trust you all to make us proud out there tonight. You know, do it for the fans. Last away game of the season. Oh, I had it on commentary only for the other ones. Let me change that back to key. There we go. So yeah, let's get this game wrapped up. Let's sign off on our campaign. As you can see, we haven't really picked up much points, but nor of the chasing pack. So to be fair, I think even if we didn't beat Accrington 4-0, it wouldn't have really made a difference. I feel we still would have gone up as champions because the chasing pack are still miles behind us. They have not won all of their games. Torquay have actually dropped down to third and by some points. So it's Boston who have took, say, that more advantage in the playoffs at that moment in time. As things stand, it's going to be a big rebuild. So what I might do, because we're actually going into Sky Bet League 2, we're going obviously professional. Jesus, that's fast. Why is that so fast? There we go. It was like ants running around and ping pong balls going everywhere. What I might do is do a sort of transfer special, because of course we are going into League Two, so I might do the summer, show you all of the signings, maybe show you the first league game. Aidan Murray-Holmes scores an absolute screamer, as we've seen him do before. Show you the signing, show you the first league game, potentially, and then skip over a couple, maybe. But let me know. Hopefully you're enjoying the format that we have been doing. I think it's a format that works, rather than sort of seeing every other game or every couple of games. We skip a couple, we play a couple, bring obviously any of the big games, so the FA Cups. Where we're in League 2, we probably won't show like round 1, maybe even round 2 of the FA Cup potentially. We'll just show it maybe from the third round. It depends on who we draw, right? If it's a team that we should easily beat, then I probably won't show it. But of course, we've got the League Cup to think about next season, rather than playing in the National League Cup that we was in this year. So we've got some different games to see. Of course, we've got brand new opposition to see. We've got a whole new league and a whole new league format to play in as well. But it's going to be exciting either way. I think realistically, like I said, we'll aim for mid-table. We'll tell the players, obviously, that we'll just avoid going down. But I think realistically, with this squad, adding a few more bits of character and star power to it, which we most certainly can with that wage budget. And let's not forget, if that takeover does go through, I don't know who that was going to, Herbie James, but if that takeover does go through and, it's a big money investor, who knows? Maybe we'll get a local celebrity to Oxford taking over the club, and we might have our own Wrexham story on our cards, maybe, or a Dagenham and Redbridge with KSI. Who knows? I don't think it's not included in this game, but also I don't know how coded or how it could potentially be in the game, right? So we'll have to wait and see. It just does say a local businessman or a business consultant, a local business. What's the word I'm looking for? When it's a group of people, consortium. So I don't know if there's going to be that much more money being pumped into the club. I hope so. I mean, there's no need for someone else to come in and give us less money, you would hope. But we'll have to wait and see. But 1-0 up against Eastleigh. Last game of the season, 65 minutes played. We'll end the season on 95 points. It's not a record. Wrexham was a record at 111. But, of course, win this and we do go down in our own record books at Oxford City as most wins in campaign. That was sitting at 23 before. We win this today and we go on to 24 wins. So a little bit of pride, I suppose, that we can get from that. We'll bring Westendorf on, probably his last appearance. Boswell can come on as well. Pinnington can come off. Scott can come on. Scott come and asked me for a new contract. And I said, look, I'm not going to enter in any contract negotiations at the moment. And also, realistically, Tom Scott, he's done a job in this league, but I feel like Sky Bet League 2 is definitely a stand-up, and his contract's due to expire at the end of the season. And because I said no, he then kicked off massively and was like, well, I'm going to go to the media about this. Fine, go to the media. I'm not offering you a new deal yet because I want to wait till the season's end so I can evaluate all my options. Thank you very much. So from that little tantrum that he had, he probably won't get a new contract because I don't even think he'll be good enough as a squad player. But last minute here, and that's the game wrapped up. A 1-0 win. Eastleigh in the end, where did they finish? They finished 19th, so they beat the drop. Solihull Moors, Tamworth, Accrington and Woking obviously went down. Woking, who of course we beat in the playoff quarterfinals last year. They actually went down with only 30 points, so rock bottom of the league. But a very good season overall. I'm just going to say very well done. We weren't at our best, but we got the result. So there we go. That's everything we're going to see in today's episode. Up as champions. Who would have believed it at the start of the season? I don't know if I did, but we've managed to pull it out with the grit and determination that is within the squad. And of course, some of them key players really stepping up at key moments. Hugh Gill, of course, towards the end of the season was a little bit disappointing, but you can't fault his 31 goals that he scored in all competitions this year. He's definitely been a difference, and hopefully he can prove his worth going up into League 2. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this season, more importantly, as well. And I will see you in the next one for that transfer special and that first game in the Sky Bet League 2. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to carry on watching the journey. Hit a like if you haven't already. And let me know in the comments, how do you think we're going to get on in Sky Bet League 2? I'm quietly confident, but I'll see you when we're in the Sky Bet League 2.